Hello, today I will be reading the entire SCP page of SCP-003. So yes, quite long, so this might take a while. But hey, just sit down, grab something to eat, and let's begin. Item, SCP-003. Object Class, Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-003 is to be maintained at a constant temperature of no less than 35 degrees Celsius and ideally kept above 100 degrees Celsius. No living multicellular organisms of Category 5 or higher complexity may be allowed to come into contact with SCP-003. In event of total power failure, if SCP-003-1 begins to increase its mass, assigned personnel must engage in skin contact with SCP-003-1. Ideally, personnel may use their body heat to return SCP-003-1 to above the critical temperature. However, skin contact must be maintained even in the event of SCP-003 reaching activation temperature, lasting at minimum until SCP-003-1 advances fully to its second growth stage. Personnel who enters SCP-003's containment area must first be examined for body parasites of Category 4, not 5, 4, Category 4, higher complexity, and sterilized if such organisms are present. All personnel who have come into physical contact with SCP-003-1 are to immediately report for sterilization afterwards. SCP-003-1 must not be removed from SCP-003-2, except in case of emergency procedures detailed above. Any significant change in SCP-003-2's rune activity, including pattern, frequency, or color, should be reported within 3 hours of occurrence. Cessation of rune activity must be reported immediately. SCP-003-2 must be supplied with power via the source designated generator 003 003-11. I think so. Yeah, that's 11, right? Or 9. Hold on. Let me use Google real quick. It'll be fine. Yes, 9. Okay. So SCP-003-2 must be supplied with power via the source designated generator 003-11 at all times. Description: SCP-003 consists of 2 related components of separate origin, referred to as SCP-003-1 and SCP-003-2. SCP-003-1 appears to be composed of chitin, hair, and nails of unknown biology, arranged in a configuration similar to that of a computer motherboard. Testing reveals SCP-003-1 to predict earliest known circuit boards by a factor of thousands of years. SCP-003-1 is considered sentient but not actively dangerous except under certain conditions. SCP-003-1 was found on a stone tablet, SCP-003-2, on which it currently resides. The runes on SCP-003-2 are not part of any known language and emit pale flickering light patterns. SCP-003-2 is controlled by a non-biological internal computer, the contents of which are mostly inaccessible without risk of damaging SCP-003-2. SCP-003-2 is capable of controlled emissions of radiation, including heat, light, and anomalous radiation types. SCP-003-2 consists of internal power source of an anomalous nature, which appears to have been losing power since several centuries before discovery. It is considered probable that SCP-003-2 was created for the purpose of containing SCP-003-1, Particularly interpreted data recovered from SCP-003-2 may refer to a past and or potential future LK-class restructuring event caused by SCP-003-1. SCP-003-1 was located by Remote Viewing Team SRV-04 Beta. It appears possible that SRV-4 Beta was earlier contacted by SCP-003-2. Other organizations have also been alerted to SCP-003's existence. Possibly by similar means, despite this activity, SCP-003-2 does not appear to be sentient, based on its lack of reactions to M03 GLORA analysis and procedures. When SCP-003 drops below the temperature of 35 degrees Celsius, both components react. First, SCP-003-1 enters a growth state characterized by exponential increase in mass. This growth state consists of two stages. In both stages, SCP-003-1 partially fuels its growth by converting matter around it, starting by any surrounding inorganic material, including atmospheric elements, then non-living organic material, including cells of dead skin, hair, chitin, enamel, keratin, and other biological materials. The first stage is always the same. SCP-003-1 will increase its mass and take a form similar in shape to a euphorid or a brittle star for 15 meters in diameter, including what appears to be a central processor of 3 meters in diameter. It will form sensory organs that appear to scan its surrounding environment and will particularly convert the area around it to an unidentified anomalous substance. SCP-003-2 seems immune from conversion. The second stage describes a growth alteration which occurs when SCP-003 comes into contact with living organic material. SCP-003 appears to template itself off of the organic material and will attempt communication with organisms that matches initial template or templates. In its second stage, SCP-001 may pause, slow, or change its growth. It will also convert inorganic and non-living organic elements into functionally similar structures while anomalously altering their physical makeup. While growth is consistent in the first stage, the second stage, SCP-003-1's growth rate is diminished by 20 to 90%. So as long as SCP-003 remains in contact with living organic materials, the percentage is determined by the complexity of the organisms in contact with SCP-003-1. SCP-003-1 appears to devote a large amount of processing power to analysis of living organic materials. Cannot speak. During each of SCP-001's growth stages, SCP-003-2 releases bursts of radiation that temporarily inhabit SCP-003-1's growth, or reverse this growth when the temperature of SCP-003-1 rises above 100 degrees Celsius. Similar radiation emissions have been replicated or recorded via other anomalous means. SCP-003-1 I'm having trouble. SCP-003-1's biology has been the subject of extensive study. Significant elements have been identified similar to SCP-1512 and SCP-2756. The latter of two which have no further confirmed connection with SCP-003-1 and no known connection with each other, and none of which are fully understood, technically even less understood than SCP-003. Thanks to the extensive disciplinary research on the SCP-003 objects. To date, no convincing analysis has been put forward which satisfactorily explains SCP-003-1's connection to these SCP objects or others, nor its connection to modern-day technology beyond appearance and potentially mimicry via unknown mechanisms. Adium. Adium 003-1, acting on information gathered from linguist analysis of SCP-003-2's runes and comparative data analysis research teams M03 Gloria has managed to establish a link between SCP-003 and data expunged. For analysis of functions, SCP-003-1 now must be considered sentient and is to keep a minimum of 1 kilometer from data expunged and resulting byproduct at all times. Addendum 003-2. SCP-003-2's power loss has been exacerbated by the procedures performed by M03 Gloria on orders of 5-10 of 05-10. M03 Gloria will continue procedures. Addendum 003-3. During M03 Gloria's procedures, SCP-003-1 doubled its mass and began rapid structural growth. Temperature was immediately returned to 100 degrees Celsius. Growth and mass increase of SCP-003-1 continued for 9 minutes and 6 seconds. At which time a sustained radiation spike was produced by SCP-003-2. In response, SCP-003-1 returned to its normal state in 3 minutes and 39 seconds. New growth dissolved into a dusty residue which was collected for analysis. Both SCP-003-1 and SCP-003-2 ceased all detectable activity. SCP-003-2 did not resume activity until connected to external power source. SCP-003-2's runes glowed uniformly gray and did not resume normal activity for 3 hours. SCP-003-2 no longer appears to be able to maintain containment area at a temperature above 35 degrees Celsius without external power supplied by generators 003-3 through 9. Addendum 003-4. The procedures detailed in Addendum 003-3 was repeated, and SCP-003-1 again entered a growth state. After 10 minutes and 13 seconds, SCP-003-2 once again produced a sustained radiation spike. SCP-003-1's growth stopped for 36 seconds and resumed at its previous pace. On quadrupling its mass, SCP-003-1 formed a coherent outer shell and body. After appearing to scan its environment, and particularly converting its environment, SCP-003-1 then breached containment, entering the observation gallery where 9 members of M03 Gloria were present. On physical contact with team members, SCP-003-1 encompassed them in rapidly growing appendages and stopped growth for 15 minutes. SCP-003-1 then resumed growth and rearranged the component parts to the center of its form to the shape of a 3-meter-tall female humanoid with peripheral tentacles shifting to extrude primarily from SCP-003-1's newly formed hair and spine. SCP-003-1 then produced rudimentary vocalizations in an apparent initial attempt to communicate with researchers. Data expunged. An unknown individual approached the compromised containment area in company of a full squad of agents. The individual claimed to be acting on orders of 05-10 and attempted communication with SCP-003-1. Data expunged. Following this incident, Andrew Jackson of M03 Gloria successfully restored power to SCP-003-2 and activated backup generators to return the temperature to 200 degrees Celsius. SCP-003-1 returned to its normal state in 21 minutes and 7 seconds and was successfully recontained without incident. All 9 members of M03 Gloria affected by SCP-003-1 were afterwards found to be physically unharmed with no residual effects besides psychological trauma, and converted materials of SC3 former's containment area did not dissolve and are now under analysis. Adium 003-5. In light of the previous incident, 05-10 was removed from the 05 Council by joint decision of 05 redacted, 05 redacted, and 05 redacted. M03 Gloria procedures have been indefinitely suspended.